Hi, Troy. Carol.
Hey, Stan, how's it going?
Great.
Hey,
Hey
wel
Stan, hey Troy.
welcome to the 52 Folks show today. I'm Troy McLaughlin. My co-host is Stan Bush. Today's guest is Carol Dublin. Carol's the operations director for GraceWorks, a nonprofit in Franklin, Tennessee that provides for the basic needs of people in distress. She also runs for Who I Run For, a nonprofit who matches runners with those who can't run. Welcome to the show, Carol.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, let's start out here because probably a lot of people don't kind of know your backstory and just a little bit about you. What is your story? I know you're from the area of Franklin, Tennessee, where a lot of creatives live, and I guess I think it's is it Williamson County?
It is Williamson County.
And Williamson County, I think, is like the one of the top. I know it's in the top 20 counties, richest counties in the country.
Yes, yes it is.
I have a
And a
friend of
lot of
mine
people,
who lives in Franklin, so I guess there's a lot of artists who live there, and
right.
So
but
were you
talk
just going to
about some
say?
of your
Were you
past
just going
and
to say that? Were you just going to say that people throw money out on the streets there, Carol? Is that what you were going to say?
No, not quite. What I was going to say is that with it being one of the richest counties, a lot of people find it amazing how much need there is in the county, and that's where GraceWorks comes in. So,
Ah.
but yeah, a lot of country music stars live here.
Hmm.
There's a lot of wealth here.
we'll just talk about that. You work for GraceWorks, and what does GraceWorks do?
GraceWorks provides basic needs for people in distress. We help with rent and utilities. We have a food pantry and a thrift store. So we're able to step in and help when people are in a crisis within the county. And my role there is primarily managing the database. So I make sure all of the client information and donor information gets entered in the database and make sure the bills get paid for the clients when they're due. So.
And what led you to that? What led you to that position at GraceWorks?
Actually, I had worked for 10 years in retail, and I just got kind of fed up with the whole retail environment and the hours and everything. And I had seen a notice about GraceWorks needing some help in the church bulletin. It's a Christian nonprofit, and it's supported by churches in the area. And so I interviewed and started out as the volunteer coordinator, and then I took on the role of Christmas coordinator, and then I went into my role now as primarily data management.
Gotcha. I mean, is that pretty satisfying to go from a retail position and then to be able to help people out on a daily basis? I mean, even though you're behind the
Absolutely.
scenes.
Absolutely. It is so exciting every day to know that I'm helping people. I don't meet directly with the clients, but I see all of their stories, and to know that I'm touching those lives is really satisfying. Much better than just making money for a company.
Well,
So,
why don't you talk about this? Talk about maybe a story that maybe over the last year or two that really touched you, that you heard about some family or some one particular person that you guys may have helped, or
um, actually, there are a lot of different stories like that. We've had a lot of people lately with the cold weather that have had such huge power bills that they can't keep their power on, they can't keep their water on. A lot of people have gotten laid off, and then suddenly they can't find a job. So it's people that have never needed help before that are suddenly needing to get help. And we were able to help pay a mortgage, help keep the power on, and help keep the water on for one family. And they sent us a thank you note later once they got back on their feet, and sent a little bit of money in because they wanted to be able to pay back. So stories like that are just amazing.
Stan, do you have any questions for her right now?
I have a bunch of them, but I'm listening. I'm really kind of listening to her right now because, I have known Carol, via the internet for probably maybe 2 years now. Is that about right?
I think that's right.
About right. So I know a little bit about her story and what kind of a person she is. But I'm kind of listening to see some of the stuff that you have pulled up on her because I know that you do that what's the pastor interview thing you do?
Project Pastor.
Project Pastor. And
Yeah.
why don't you tell Carol a little bit about that?
Well, it's basically it's my passion to help pastors out because in the States alone we lose 15 to 1,700 pastors a month. So it's my passion that they not only live their dream, but they don't just live a life of survival, but they flourish in the ministry. So kind of the behind the scenes, but as an encourager and advocate and a fan of those in the ministry. So
Wonderful.
So that's kind of what I do. I think over the last year I've interviewed between missionaries and pastors and ministers all over the world, actually. About 40 of them this last year. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. But let's talk about you, because this show is not about me. You also, so we know you're in Tennessee and this wonderful hotbed of creatives and things like that.
Right.
But you also do something that's really cool, and I know you started doing this. It's just probably that gift of help that obviously you have. You run because you're a runner,
right.
And somebody who had this vision about running wanted to help someone else who couldn't run.
Correct.
And you've joined with them, and talk about I Run For and what they represent, because this is really cool. I enjoy this idea of giving to someone who can't do something else, and yet they inspire you to probably even do better.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, about a year ago, I found out, actually through a client, a friend and a client at Graceworks, I found out about this group called I Run For. And she has 3 special needs children and has runners for each of those children. And she found out I was training for a half marathon, and she said, "Oh, you should join this group." And so I got involved. Basically, it was started about a year ago. Tim Boyle, who is the founder and the executive director, was running his first race, and he made a comment on Facebook about the race. And a Facebook friend of his who has Down syndrome and hip dysplasias and a wheelchair mentioned, "You can run for me anytime." And that started Tim thinking. He ended up saying that he would run for Michael, this man who is 52 years old, and that started this friendship in this group. And he runs in Michael's honor whenever he runs. And then I got involved in March, and I run for Bennett, who is a little boy with Down syndrome, and he lives in Minnesota. I've never met him, but I dedicate all my miles to him in my races, and communicate with his parents every day.
Now, are you able to, Google Hangouts is a great way to communicate too. Have you ever done that and communicated that way with them?
We haven't. I should, but we haven't. But yeah, they send me messages about his progress, because he's having, he has different struggles, and so they send me messages about his progress, and he's doing much better lately, and he's progressing really well. And they told me last night they were busy making Valentines for today's party at school. So he's a little charmer.
Well, I didn't know that. What you said was that it was about, how long ago did they get started?
I Run For started in January of last year. We just celebrated our year anniversary.
And you have, how many people are in that group on Facebook?
There are nearly 14,000 people in the group. There are nearly 4,200 matches in about a year. I was match number 23.
Wow. I did not realize it had been that kind of growth. Yes. I mean, you're talking about, well, I'm not very good at math, so that's
nor am I.
It's huge.
It's more than a few. If you had to say a couple or few, it's more like, it's not even a bunch. It's like a gaggle or something. I don't know. That is a lot of people. And so you matched. Did you match everybody?
I didn't match everybody. I started matching. My role started in September. I was helping behind the scenes from June on, and then I took on the matchmaker role in September.
And so how many people do you match a month?
Oh, that's hard to say. I match probably close to 100 a week. So 400 to 500 matches, I guess, a month. It all depends on sign-ups, on how many people sign up.
Yeah, that when we talked about my questions, he's one of the things that I had was, you know, where I know where you get your runners, and right now
Mm-hmm.
you guys have more runners than you do people that they can run for. Is that right?
That's correct. We have about, I think, of 2,200 runners on the waiting list right now. They're waiting about 12 weeks to be matched. And so we definitely need more buddies. And basically, we run for people who can't run. So we're looking for, the buddies are usually mobility challenged. They've got conditions like Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, spina bifida, epilepsy, and a lot of things I can't pronounce. So there are a lot of different conditions, including autism and multiple sclerosis. So there are a lot of different conditions. We ask parents to reach out to other parents in their groups and encourage them to sign up.
So, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Troy.
No, I was going to ask, have you guys even thought about building a group over on Google Plus, maybe a community over there where you could kind of spread the word?
Most likely Tim is already looking into that, would be my guess. Yeah. We're also going to try to have a booth at the Special Olympics, so we're trying to reach out in other ways to encourage more buddies to sign up. And we do run for adults and children, so it's not just limited to children.
Do you have a contact at the Special Olympics? I mean, you have to know somebody there, right?
I believe Tim is working with somebody. I just don't know who it is.
Mm-hmm. So he probably wasn't expecting this kind of reaction. Is that what it is?
He was not. He was not. We are all blown away by the absolute response to this, and just the encouragement and the excitement that surrounds it. I get messages from people all the time telling me how fulfilling this is once they're matched, how excited they are to be matched, or how much they're looking forward to being matched. And I know from my own experience, it's an incredible motivator. So.
Yeah, I love Autumn. You know, I'm matched with Autumn, and I don't get to do as much with her, you know, as I would like. You know, injuries and age, but you know, but she is just like really this. It's just amazing what her you know, how buoyant she is all the time. I mean, she is just this one happy little girl all the time, and so that's one of the things that keeps you, you know, motivated and stuff. But I would like to know something. Is that how did you wind up with Bennett if you didn't do matching?
Tim matched me. I don't know how but that was a perfect match.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a perfect match for me. Tim and I both say that God makes these matches, and He makes these perfect matches. And so that for me was a perfect one.
Yeah, I see you talking to Bennett every day.
Every day,
yeah,
even when I don't run.
Yep, every day I see you posting there to Bennett. And one thing I noticed about the group is that it used to be you could kind of post something in there, and you might be able to see it in about, you know, for maybe 10 minutes, you know, sometimes. And now if you post something in that group, it just goes right down. It just disappears. You know,
absolutely.
There is so much going on in there, especially on a day like today. Everybody's posting their Valentine's wishes and things like that, and it's just, but it is really interesting to watch that group because of that. So how can somebody help you? That was another question I had down here. Is you know, your runners, everybody kind of knows each other, you know, because you're at running groups that's been together for years and years and years. So somebody says something to somebody, like Les Dawsey joined the other day when he found out that it's not just about runners, right? Right.
In fact, I matched somebody last night who's a swimmer.
Oh, you did?
So he's swimming for his buddy. So.
Well, see, I mean, you know, the running thing I can do, but the swimming thing, it would be like, hey, Autumn, I did 10 feet for you today. You know, it would not be very much at all. That just, you know, swimming is not very good. But so how? So
you're more like a rock, Stan?
I'm more. Oh yeah. I'm more like a. Well, you know, I'm more like a rock. Yeah, that's funny because I was a lifeguard when I was, you know, a kid. But And I like swimming, but I just can't go very far with it. So how can somebody help other than running?
Well, we have people who do yoga, who walk, who ride bikes. We've got people that do all sorts of things. Pretty much any kind of workout. You can do a workout for your buddy.
Well, what I'm getting more towards is like, how can they help outside? Because not everybody's runners, not everybody's fitness people. There are people that can probably help match up people and things like that. That's kind of what I'm asking about.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Well, spreading the word, helping spread the word to different special needs groups is a huge help. And especially when the parents and the buddies can give a testimonial of how it's affected them and how much it makes a difference in their life. And because a lot of special needs parents are hesitant to get involved in something like this because they don't want to get hurt or put their child in a bad place. And so to help them understand that it's a good, safe place, it's a closed Facebook group, so the only people that see the post are the people in the group, and that it is a source of inspiration for them as well as for the runners. I know that Bennett's parents have told me how great it is to know they're not alone, that they felt very isolated before, and to know that somebody they don't even know is doing all this, praying for and running for their child is just a huge, huge benefit.
Yeah, you can see it's. I think you'd agree, Troy. You can see how when she starts talking about Bennett and when she starts talking about that stuff, the whole smile thing that comes on is like, that is just incredible. You and I.
She lights up like a Roman candle.
Oh, she does. It's like, I've always really liked you. In the groups that we've been in, I thought, Josh, she's a sweet person. I really like her and everything. But when you start talking about this stuff, it is like, you can just see it when you can literally see when this thing comes over where you go, I just remembered something. This little deal here, and it really kind of lights up everything. It's really, really, really neat. Okay, so where do you get your funding?
We have done several fundraisers. A Christian rock group called 9 Lashes did a concert for us, and we are doing several virtual races where people can sign up and they pay the fee, and that goes to several different charities, including I Run For. And just donations, you can donate online. Our website is whoirunfor.com, which is whoirun and the number 4.com. And there's a place on there you can donate.
whoirunfor.com.
Now, what about your what's the Facebook group called? I know you guys have been talking about it. I know you're both part of it, but what is that called? And then how would somebody, if they wanted to become part of that Facebook group, if they're on one side or the other, the runner, there's someone who needs who has a need or can't run, how do they get in contact with that Facebook group?
It's called I Run For Michael. So it's within Facebook, and the group itself is called I Run For Michael. And like I said, it's a closed group, so you have to request to join it, and then you'll be granted or confirmed. So.
Yeah, because I'm not a real big Facebooker. I do occasionally. So we would just go up the top and search in the little
for
search.
I Run For Michael.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He see when they say Facebook, he thinks they're going to show his picture all the time. That kind of scares him, and I mean, you understand, I'm sure.
Well, you don't want to see my ugly mug that often, so.
No, it is. We'll put all of the links up. We've actually got the links up, I think, but when we do on the 54 folks, there's this image there, and that's
52. But we'll go with 54 if you want.
Well, no. Today it's 54 because I'm counting, me and you. And I'm kind of making it up as I go. But it's 52folks.com. There is an image of you that's got that stuff on it, and we'll make sure that we put it into the comments and stuff like that.
Good.
How many countries are you guys in?
Oh, I think we're in like 25 or 26 countries now.
Wow.
All 50 states.
In a year?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Okay, so how would I get you guys to pay me to go run in like Austria.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way, Stan.
Oh no.
Sorry.
No?
Sorry.
Well, I was just wondering.
None of us are getting paid.
It's not Vacation Club for Stan.
It's not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Actually, we are getting paid. If you're in that group, and I know you know what I mean, we are getting paid.
Well, that's
It's
true.
just,
Not my money, but yeah.
yeah, it's not money, but it is just, you know, the whole thing about that group is that if you know, Google Hangouts and the Google sphere is a lot of fun. But when you go over in that group, you can spend, just in that group, you can spend hours, just hours going through the stuff and seeing all the things that they make for each other. Like,
it's amazing.
Did you see what Autumn sent me yesterday?
I did. That was great.
Yeah.
All those pictures.
Did you see the one about mustache?
I saw that.
Yeah.
That was cute.
She sent a picture. I might be able to pull that up, but probably not. I don't want to lose anything. But she sent a picture that had one of the fake mustaches on it, and it said, "I mustache you." You know, like she had a question. You know, what kind of day I was having. I mustache you. You know, and it was just a big kick to me. I just really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the humor and stuff. And then when you go and you dig a little bit deeper and you go, wait a minute, like she was in surgery twice last week. You know, so wow. You know, and you're not talking about. You know, you're not. It makes those little paper cuts and the little things that we deal with just very insignificant.
Absolutely. Some of the things the parents deal with is just amazing, and it's such a great prayer community because people will say, "Hey, can you pray for my buddy? They're having this procedure today," or the parents will ask for prayer. It's just a great prayer community too.
We'll talk about
I've seen people have gotten tattoos for their buddies. Even they've gone that far.
Yeah, I think I saw one with Tim had one on his the other day, or right half or something like that.
Yeah, I don't have a tattoo.
I hate to be the bearer, but that won't be happening with my
No.
It's not, you know, not for me. But,
no.
But that's not passing judgment on anybody, you know, that's just not my thing.
Not
we
my
can
thing.
always go with a Sharpie, Stan. Those will wear off eventually. So.
Yeah, I think I still have some from the Cracker Jack boxes that might work. So what were you fixing to ask, Troy?
Well, I was fixing to ask about the idea of, you know, you talked about it earlier, that people don't feel that they're alone. They know someone else's story, and that they're encouraged that, oh, I'm not alone, or my child or my older brother or whoever is going through this, whether they're a runner or they're on the other side, someone who can't run or ride a bike or whatever, that they're not alone. Talk about just that sense of community, how it brings you guys together knowing that you're not alone.
Well, it's a great source of advice for people. I know a lot of the parents can ask each other questions if they find out that, you know, that another child has the same condition that theirs does. Even the runners can ask questions. I know when I ran my race last year, it was 100% chance of rain, and I had never intentionally run in the rain, so I was asking for advice on what kind of things to wear and that sort of thing. So and when people get injured, a lot of times they'll say, "Hey, I've got this particular injury. Can you advise me?" And so it's a great source of support that way. And just the idea that someone's praying for you, someone's thinking about you, and you know that that is very comforting for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. That was the half that you did in
last April.
Yeah, last April.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
2.5 hours in the rain.
Yeah. I know. I've only done one half too, and but you know, when you say something like that, when you say I've only done one half, you know, when somebody, you know, it's kind of like, well, you go do that, and then you come back and say because it's not. I don't know about yours, but I was just like, you're talking about praying. I was like,
exactly.
What did they?
The whole time.
Hey, I know. Where did they move this line to? Because it was right there, you know. And then when you get to the last part of it, you're looking there and you're going, wow, that's like, it doesn't seem like. Somebody says, well, you're almost there. Really? I'm almost there.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you know, I think it's a really good thing to be able to. So, are you going to do a full?
Probably not.
No.
I think a half is my distance. 10 to 12 miles is about my favorite run, so I don't know that I'll do a half. I mean, do more than a half. But
so you like that distance?
I like that distance.
Mm-hmm. More so than, say, 3 miles?
Oh, absolutely. 3 miles doesn't feel like enough for me. 5 is what I normally do.
I die in 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
5 is my normal distance, and then I do about 10 or 12 on the weekends. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was doing that for a while until I broke my ankle, and then I have been out, as you know, injury-wise for a little bit. But I have some questions for you. Let's see, you're not very active on Google Plus.
Not really.
No, not really. But so do you use Twitter to get any of this stuff out, or Pinterest, or LinkedIn? I did notice this. You have like 500 and something people that you're linked into over at LinkedIn. Do you do anything over there?
Not a lot. To be honest, I am so busy doing matching that I don't have time to get on a lot of social media. Mm-hmm. So even within the group, I don't get to read much of what's posted simply because I'm busy getting people ready to be matched. Mm-hmm. So, but I do have LinkedIn, I have Twitter, I have Google Plus, and I drop in every once in a while on each of those. Post my blog there.
I didn't know that you were. Let's see, you're a graphics person at AmSouth. Is that the name of it? Am something?
AmSouth Bank.
AmSouth Bank.
That was my first job. Yeah.
And you did graphics like? Did you use I don't know, Adobe, or what did you use there?
We used Quark Express actually.
Oh yeah, Quark. I remember Quark.
Yeah.
That was cool. And then you went to Borders. I
went to Borders.
And you moved your store into like number 4 in the country. Is that right?
I did. I was transferred. That's how I transferred. I was in Cleveland, Ohio, and I transferred down here to Franklin to run the Brentwood store. And it was actually very broken at the time. And I put together a team, and we increased sales and everything. And we were 4th in the company one year. That was very satisfying.
So Tim is probably pretty happy to have you putting these people together. It sounds like you do a really good job with connecting people, and that sounds like one of your really good skill sets.
It is. That and spreadsheets. I love spreadsheets. So.
Well,
I'm a very detail-oriented person.
That would be a love of mine, but.
Yeah, I wouldn't say spreadsheets would be mine, but that would be like. I'm trying to think of that list of things that I like the least, and I'm pretty sure that spreadsheets are on it. So, are you ready for a little T&A?
I guess so.
For those that don't know the T&A, that's telepathy, or telepathic, and answers. And that's where I give you the answers to the questions. You know what I'm fixing to do, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the
okay. Answers. Relax. It'll be okay.
Yeah, take a deep breath.
I hope it'll be short.
I'm going to give you the questions, and then you're going to select the answer.
All right.
No, I'm going to give you answers, and you're going to select the answer, and then I'm going to tell you what the question is.
Okay.
Okay? Here's the question. Alabama and Georgia, Georgia and Auburn, or Alabama and whoever's playing Auburn?
I'm going to say Alabama and whoever's playing Auburn.
You know the question, don't you?
I think so.
Yeah. The question is, what are my 2 favorite college football teams?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I knew that. I was like, if she likes Alabama, and it doesn't matter who's playing Auburn.
Exactly.
So did you pull for them in the BCS ball?
Don't ask me that.
Yeah. I kind of know the answer to that. I was like, well, you know, I do think that game kind of proved that, you know, the ACC, Florida. They were good. They were really
They
good.
were,
this year.
yeah.
But they were supposed to just walk all over, Auburn. They were supposed to just destroy them. And it's like, no, it's not like that. It ain't like that.
It's never like that.
No. And we won't get into a long discussion about that. But as you and I both know and agree and are absolutely correct about, anybody wants to come over here to the SEC, just come on over.
Exactly.
And then you'll get to kind of know what it is to be beat by Kentucky, or Vanderbilt, which happened to us this year. So you're a big Alabama fan.
Yes.
And you went to, let's see, South. I was
Southern Birmingham or something like that.
Yeah, Birmingham Southern College is where
I knew there was a South and a Birmingham.
Yeah, Birmingham Southern.
And did they have a football team?
They did not at the time.
They do now, though, don't they?
They do now, but they did not at the time.
Okay, so here's another question. Here's your answers.
Uh-huh.
Running on empty, don't worry, be happy, or both?
I'm going to say both.
What song best describes your average day?
Yeah, that's pretty close.
That's pretty close to how it works, right?
Yeah, it is. That's pretty good. You nailed that one.
Hey, let's see. Okay, here's another one. Here's your answers.
Okay.
Poor, excellent, and what were we just talking about?
I'm going to say excellent.
Okay. Considering how much information you have to keep up with, how would you rate your memory?
Oh, yeah, I blew that one.
Are you on the change?
I have to write everything down. I need to change my answer.
you need to readjust your answer, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I have to write everything down.
Yeah.
Definitely have to write everything down.
I saw a guy. I saw an interview with I think it was Billy Funk. I know it was Billy Funk, and I can't remember who he was interviewing, but the guy said something that made a lot of sense, and that was that writing something down on a piece of paper works 1,000 times better than anything you can do digitally. And it's like
that's something about pen and paper.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
does.
Well, the only problem for me is I got to remember where I put that paper.
True, and you have to look back at
it. yeah, you have to review it.
You can't just write it down and forget it.
Okay. One more.
Okay.
Telepathic answer, okay?
All right.
Here's the question. About 2, more than 6, and what's that?
I'll say about 2.
About 2. And I don't think you're going to change this answer.
Okay. Uh-oh.
With your busy schedule, how many hours of sleep do you get a day?
Yeah, that's about right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Yeah, she gets about 2 probably.
Yeah,
I was thinking a lot of that's cat naps.
Yeah, I don't sleep a lot.
So is there like because I know that because I see you up like I am, at 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes. You two had some conversation going on this morning, right? Y'all had something that y'all posted back and forth. I saw. It was like, I can't remember on exactly what it was, but Troy and you had this little thing. I was like, wow, this is. I looked at the time and it was like 4:18 or something, or 3:58. And
that's probably right.
Yeah, and then. But I know that you're up until late 30, matching people and stuff like that. So how many hours do you really get? I mean, how do you get that much done?
Probably I get about 5 or 6 hours of sleep. And I am a morning person, so I thrive in the morning, so I get up and I get more done in the morning. I start slowing down at night. So I don't do as well late.
So do you run first thing in the morning? Is that the first thing you do, or do you do it at night?
I actually get up and I do my devotions and I write, and then I run about. I'm usually out running about 5 or 5:30 every morning. And then if I have time, I'll try to get a match set done in the morning, and then head to work, and then start matching the minute I get home.
So how often? Not how often, but how many hours a week are you matching then? Wow, you really.
I probably spend about as much time if I'm run for matching as I do at my paying job. It's probably a good close because I do a lot on the weekends as well.
Now you said you had stories on the Facebook page. Do you guys do any little YouTube interviews that you guys could do on there to share those, so that people could share those about some of the connections?
I think Tim is working on some videos. I know there's one that's posted on our on the website, and excuse me, he has a blog, and he tells some of the stories in his blog.
Well, you have a blog too. Here's the thing: now that you're on Google Plus, and now that this is the second time at least you've been on a hangout, you know how this all works, and so you could start doing these yourself, and you could interview, somebody who's matched, and talk, and you could talk about those, and maybe do a little 1 or 2 little 2-minute thing and share that.
Well, I have a question about that though.
Okay.
You mean like in her spare time? Is that what?
Yes.
Is that? Oh, what a wonderful idea! So where are you gonna? Which spare time are you gonna just like put that into, Carol?
That's a great question.
Yeah, because I would think as much as the way that you do, you have to do. Because I feel like I'm pretty busy too. But when you really look and think, okay, 100 matches a week. Okay, and this thing is blowing up around them, then sometimes you must think to yourself, and this is the only way that I'm able to get through some things, I'm going to work on this for 10 minutes. I have 10 minutes, and I can work on this for 10 minutes. And I'm going to match as many as I can in 10 minutes, or is it more like I'm going to match 10 people? I mean, a
lot of times I have to set a time limit. I have to say I'm going to do this for however long, and then I've got to stop. Because there's no end to it. As soon as I've finished matching, then there's more people signing up. So I don't ever get to a finish point. I just have to get to a point I'm comfortable stopping.
Well, have you discussed having somebody else help match people? Would that make it faster, or?
I've thought about how to do that, and there is a team of people, and there are some people that are helping me with certain aspects of it. But I need to have hands-on a lot of it, just so I know I know where we are in the process.
Mm-hmm. So. Is there a criteria that you use to match people?
There is not. The only thing I look at is next in line. The runners are all on the spreadsheet, and then I'm just putting the buddies in next in line. The only thing I do look at is if we have a buddy who is 16 and over, I try to match them with the same gender. So that's the only thing I look at.
Do you have enough? Okay, we know that you have enough runners, right?
I have plenty of runners.
Yeah, and do you have, like, you got a lot of people right now that you have matched up? I'm just trying to get a feel for that, because there's so many different places that you could go to. Like, I'm thinking here in our area, there's a place called Happy Hour, and that would be a place where you could pick up 30 people or more in my area, and so that's what that's kind of what I'm getting at. Is that do you have have you got 100 people waiting for matches right now?
Oh no. No. In fact, actually, what I end up doing is when I post matches, that's all I had that were ready to be matched. The runners, I don't always get them processed, but the buddies I do try to match as they come in. So they get matched like same day a lot of times.
So we just need to broadcast more about the ones who are in need, the ones who can't run,
the buddies.
Right? Yeah,
Correct.
The buddies.
Yeah, we definitely need more buddies. So, and like I said before, we encourage the parents to share it, or if you know of a group that in your area that helps special needs adults or children, to share our link with them. Those are both good ways to get the word out.
I just saw another number here that it really didn't strike me so much until I read it and put together with the 14,000 people that's involved in the online group. But I didn't really put those two numbers together until now. But at the ministry, Okay. It says communications to over 5,500 regular online supporters.
With GraceWorks, yes, that's correct.
Okay, so you got 20,000 people that you're dealing with.
Right.
Okay. So if I was to send you like a tweet that said, "I'm getting a hot dog at McDonald's" or something, that probably wouldn't interest you or anything, right?
No.
No. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to narrow down my communication with you. I didn't want to send you something like, "Hey, look, here's a hamburger." Because
Well, since I don't eat meat, that wouldn't interest me at all.
yeah. Oh, so I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Really. Mm-hmm.
So how long have you been a vegetarian?
Oh, about 15 years.
Oh. Yeah. So you're kind of new at it.
A little bit.
That's interesting too. I did not know that. That explains a lot about a lot of things with you too. Because you're just the guy, like I said, you just light up. So, are there any questions that you want to ask us, or anything that you want to emphasize or tell people about? Because we're at 10:41 now, so we're going to try to wrap up about 10:45.
Okay.
So, is there anything that you wanted to kind of talk about?
Ooh. Well, we've kind of covered a lot of it.
Yeah, like I said, I couldn't find any of the scoop stuff though. I'm hoping you're gonna dig up some of that closet stuff, that swept under the rug stuff about you. That I was light on you. I kind of looked around.
I appreciate
like
that.
Said, yeah, I kind of looked around, and went, there's not very much on here, and there's a lot of information, but it was all like, it was just no dirt. So I'm trying to figure out if you're going to give us any or not.
Probably not.
You probably don't have much.
Oh, no. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, no, just how exciting it is to be a part of this group. I got a note the other day from somebody who told me that her daughter used to run, and that she'd had some injuries and surgery, and she wasn't able to run anymore, and she was so excited to be able to have someone that could do that for her. So it's just stories like that that just really make this worthwhile.
Did you know that when you search for Carol Dublin images and stuff, okay, just stuff, have you ever done that?
No, I haven't. I guess I need to, don't I?
Yeah, you need to do that. You need to go, because if you'll use the quotation, the quotation marks to say exact phrase Carol Dublin and look through Google on images, you're going to be really happy about what you're connected to and what it shows up there. There's an image of a woman on a bike that looks like she's got some sort of prosthesis that was associated with you somehow. Do you even know that?
No, I don't. I don't know.
Yeah, you're like, when you go out and you look at it, there's a bunch of people who have who can't run for themselves, or like you say, you're going to see the people that you're associated with. It's like, this is really.
I'll have to go take a look.
Yeah, I was like, this is really neat stuff, because, and like I said, I started to bring some of those images up, but I just didn't feel the need. I thought, man, this is really a good person. I don't want to treat her like Mark Ensign.
I appreciate that.
She's not trying to save the internet. She's just trying to help some people.
Exactly.
Well, have you got any final questions there, Troy?
No, I'm just amazed by her story and what she does, and just like you said, she lights up just incredibly, when she talks about what she does and who she helps out. But why do this? Just talk about maybe one story, maybe the last couple of weeks that really touched you, maybe a match that touched you.
Well, actually, a match that I think is going to be a very cool match was I did this morning, and it's twin boys, and they're matched with a man who is actually a doctor, and I think that's going to be a really good one. They've got real severe allergies, and have a risk of going into anaphylactic shock at any moment, and I think them being matched with him is going to be really good. So, and I know even just with Bennett, just being able to run for him has just been so incredible. Like I said before, it gets me out there on these cold mornings. There have been mornings that were in the teens, and I would have never in a million years thought I could run in the teens.
Wow.
I've gotten out there for him.
Wow, that is absolutely, for anybody that's questioning that, I can just tell you that when you go out and do it, it is amazing.
It really is.
It's how that you're kind of struggling along there, and then you think of that person that you're running for.
Absolutely.
It's just
absolutely.
It's where that big smile comes from.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's about time to close this session out then.
All right.
So, Carol, I've enjoyed this a lot.
I have too. Thank you for inviting me.
And Troy, as always, you're Troy, and and we'll have another next week. And you guys take care. And so we'll see y'all next week.
All right. Thanks.